Compass Mining is your trusted partner in Bitcoin mining. Whether you're investing in one machine or thousands, our customizable solutions are tailored to meet your needs. We are your experts in Bitcoin mining, offering a platform where individuals and businesses can purchase hardware, host machines, and access a range of ancillary Bitcoin mining services. We also specialize in large-scale site development and data center operations. Discover more at compassmining.io and see how we can power your success today. Hey miners, welcome back to the channel McNallie Money, the official home of power mining analysis. Bitcoin has pulled back into the $88,000 range. The Bitcoin mining stocks have unfortunately followed suit. That's what we're going to be talking about in today's presentation, in addition to some potentially concerning news between Microsoft, CoreWeave, and its potential impact on Core Scientific. In addition to that, we just received production results for the month of February from IREN and some very exciting news from Soluna Holdings. All of that and more in today's video. Before we get into it, take a second, hit the like button, you guys. Big help to myself and the channel. Anthony loves it. If you're not already subscribed, McNallie Money, feel free to join and let us know in the comments section below if you're currently holding any of these three miners, your outlook on the Bitcoin mining sector overall, and your thoughts or potential outcomes for tomorrow's crypto summit heading into the weekend. Now, with that being said, let's get into today's video. Okay guys, Thursday afternoon here, a sell-off in the Bitcoin mining space. Anthony, we're going to be talking about that in today's presentation, but to kick things off, I'll bring up the Bitcoin stock chart or price here in the $88,000 range. Some uncertainty going into tomorrow's crypto summit. We've got some additional news on that later on, but the market again seems to be in a bit of a holding pattern.
Yeah, and I wasn't expecting any drop today going into tomorrow because everything seems positive. The people that are going there are all heads of the industry, CEOs of large public companies, and obviously have the White House committee also in that meeting there. So Michael Saylor's been on various news platforms today to discuss the strategic crypto reserve and give an indication of sort of like, maybe a 6 month rollout of this process.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how that all plays out. Market seems eerily quiet, almost the calm before the storm here. If we bring up the Bitcoin mining stocks themselves, as I mentioned, a sea of red, one standing out specifically though, Anthony, Core Scientific, actually one we talked about quite a bit already this week. We'll get into the news in a second here, but definitely some trading that we haven't seen typically for this ticker.
Sort of a news item came out this morning with regards to Microsoft pulling back on some of the deals with CoreWeave, and we know that CoreWeave had this significant deal with Core Scientific, so the knock-on effect there, but nothing's been substantiated yet. We heard news the other day about Microsoft maybe pulling out a little bit further from the HPC AI space. Again, it's not fully substantiated, but it has affected Core Scientific share price because they are heavily involved in that deal with CoreWeave.
Yeah, and that's what I wanted to bring up here, Anthony. It is unsubstantiated at this point. We've heard rumors, Microsoft in and out of the Stargate deal. We've now heard in and out of potentially some CoreWeave contracts. CoreWeave themselves coming out saying they have heard nothing as to do with this cancellation. However, if you look at the Core Scientific chart, at the time I took this image, down 14%, $1.32 a share. And if you actually trace back this current share price in the $8.20, $8.30 range, you can go all the way back to the start of June, which ironically, Anthony, is very close to when we were down in Denton initially hearing about this big CoreWeave contract. So you think of all the accomplishments on this timeline slide over the last year since this June timeframe, and to see the share price now back in the mid $8 range, really quite a head scratcher.
That was pretty much exactly when we were at the Denton facility, back in sort of around about that June 10th, June 12th period last year. And we noticed even that day at Denton, the share price had gone up I think it was double digits on the day. I think it went up 14, 15% during that presentation that Adam gave to all the analysts in the room. Move forward 9 months and we're at 590 megawatts on that deal now. So that's a massive deal. And hopefully we'll get at least some sort of announcement from CoreWeave or Core Scientific to either substantiate it or disagree with what's been put into the news outlets at the moment. But yeah, the share price, down today. This for me is effectively a buying opportunity because Core Scientific, it's not as if they had that full contract factored into their share price. I mean, there's still a Bitcoin miner with close to 20 exahash, which is going to get upgraded in terms of efficient mining chips coming in place in Q3. And they've still got this, we're not told the whole deal's off, and we're not told any deal's off at the moment. So I'd be waiting to hear an update from the company or from CoreWeave at least to say what's happening.
Yeah, it seems very similar to some of the prior FUD we heard about DeepSeek, about the Microsoft Stargate cancellations. I wanted to bring up the CoreWeave summary slide, Anthony. We've talked about this extensively this week, specifically on the channel. You're right in saying it appears these numbers and this contract is not being priced into the share price. Interesting, though, in their recent presentation, the first priority for 2025 in terms of catalysts was diversifying this customer base. Obviously, a single customer presents a risk to any business. We've talked about this a lot on the channel. We mentioned in this most recent earnings release, CoreWeave actually upsized the deal. That gave us more confidence that this was going to be a sure thing, so to speak. So definitely interesting, Anthony. We've talked about this single client risk. However, at this point, unsubstantiated concerns about Microsoft potentially pulling out of CoreWeave, that doesn't necessarily mean CoreWeave would pull out or downgrade their contract with Core Scientific, nor does it mean Microsoft is the only client for CoreWeave.
Absolutely. Even if these rumors are substantiated, think about the gap between what's available in terms of power to feed HPC at the moment, AI at the moment, and what they need in the US. And if you remember our podcast with Dan Roberts, the gap's amazing. I mean, this deal with between CoreWeave and Core Scientific is fractional in terms of what's really required. They're looking to try and gain something like 28 gigawatts more than is available at the moment. So, 590 megawatts, if it's not a deal with Microsoft or CoreWeave, I'm sure there are many, many other requirements out there that want facilities that have been proven to have the right level of power, fiber, water, all the various elements in place, and with a company that has a track record of building data centers. So I don't think this is a too big an issue for Core Scientific. I'd like to hear, obviously, something from the company, in the next few days, just to address this news point today. But I still think Core Scientific is a company that I'll be continuing to invest in on a monthly basis as and when my funds come through from my pension.
Yeah, as they say, if you liked Core at 12, 10, you should love it at 8. And in addition to all those points you just made, Anthony, Router's putting out an article today stating AI firm CoreWeave denies contract cancellations with Microsoft. So again, could be completely FUD here, but the share price definitely responding in a big way today. And I did also want to mention this agreement between Microsoft and CoreWeave. This is not a new agreement, similar to how you talked about the prior relationship with CoreWeave, Core Scientific. If you look back even to last year, Microsoft accounted for about 62% of CoreWeave's revenue. So this is an existing partnership. They've already worked together. They've already had contracts in excess of $1 billion, and we'll continue to monitor this situation. Now, the other one here, Anthony, very exciting for the Bitcoin mining community. IREN has put out their production results for the month of February. IREN has slowly become a fan favorite on the channel over the last 12, 18 months. And with their increasing hash rate, their efficiency, their growing Bitcoin production per month, I can see exactly why so many people are bullish on this name. Compass Mining makes Bitcoin mining accessible to everyone. Start mining in as little as 48 hours with our turnkey hardware, online and mining directly to your Bitcoin wallet within 2 business days. Find out more at compassmining.io and get started now.
Yeah, absolutely. We've been, supporting IREN for the last few years now, ever since they IPO'd back in late 2021, so just over 3 years. And they've grown, enormously since then. 0.5 of an exahash when they went public, and now they're at 31 exahash in total machines energized. February's update another good update. And bear in mind, IREN are a consistent sort of top 3, top 4 miner, month in, month out in terms of what they can produce with their hash rate. And February will be probably no different from that. When I've looked at the results already, there's still a few more to come through, but they're certainly in that top 2 or 3 at the moment. Bitcoin mined, well, we know from all the updates that obviously a lot of the miners, those that haven't increased any significant operational hash rate, will be obviously mining less than January, because there's a 31-day month in January, only 28 days in February. So IREN mined 459 Bitcoin. That's a 12% drop. Their operational hash rate, now this could be partly due to curtailment in Texas. So bear in mind, IREN, at that facility, the Childress facility there, they're using the market rate for power. And as soon as the power spikes, they'll switch off machines. So a lot of the miners in Texas are using that so their availability, because they can switch off very quickly, switch back on when the power rate drops, and maximize the potential of paying a low power cost during the month by doing that sort of activity. Operational hash rate was lower than January. It was 28.7, only 1% lower. Their installed hash rate is still at 31, but we expect that to start increasing as more of these 25 megawatt buildings come online. And we saw them coming online literally 1 or 2 a month towards the end of last year. So they've got a target of 50 exahash by the end of June. So I would expect March's update to start showing that figure start to move closer up towards 35, up towards 40, and get to 50 by the middle of the year. We fully expect them to do it. They did that sort of hash rate in the last 6 months of 2024. They should be able to do it in the first 6 months of 2025. Current operational power at all their sites is a total of 510 megawatts. They have got the lowest mining efficiency of all the public miners, 15. Next nearest to them is CleanSpark, and they're over 17 at the moment. So there's a healthy gap between IREN and the second place miner in terms of efficiency. And what does that mean? It means you're using less power to mine a Bitcoin, so you're keeping your costs down. In terms of the power cost, it has increased by 15% from January to February. So that's sort of another reason that sort of backs up my thoughts about curtailment there. So the power has increased. It was 24,683 per Bitcoin. Now it's up to 28,341. It still gives them a healthy margin. IREN were able to produce in that last quarter of 2024 with their results. They were producing a Bitcoin total cash cost of just literally a touch over $40,000. So even at today's price of 88,000, and allowing for that increase there of 4,000 in terms of additional power cost in February, they're still making a really healthy margin on a cash basis for their Bitcoin mined. And the mining margin, you can see clearly there from the slide, 70% in February, 75% in January. Another thing to note, their AI cloud services revenue increased by 50% between January and February, so they're at 1.2 million now. That's close to 15 million run rate for the annualized revenue. And the hardware profit margin on that service is 96%. Obviously, that is taking just the power cost away from the revenues they receive. Bear in mind, the GPUs and the build the sites are not included in that calculation, but very healthy margins on both Bitcoin mining and HPC for IREN, all looking good.
Yeah, no kidding. I was really happy to see that jump on the HPC revenue as well, and some great photos out from their facilities. You can see Sweetwater starting to take shape, and some great schematics of their Childress facility. Now, next up, Anthony, we talk about FUD, fear, uncertainty, doubt in the headlines here. This was one that came out a few weeks ago. DeepSeek seems now to actually be a positive for the industry or space as there's more adoption. We talked about Jevons paradox on the channel. Reduced costs lead to overall increased adoption. It seems one of the miners, Soluna Holdings, taking advantage of this opportunity with a great press release today talking about this DeepSeek initiative.
Yeah. So they've announced that one of their subsidiaries, Soluna Cloud, which obviously looks after the HPC AI business, is powering Atlas Cloud's new DeepSeek R1 offering in North America. And the platform itself will deliver high performance AI inferencing using 128 NVIDIA H100 SXM InfiniBand GPUs, which provide a superior speed and efficiency. DeepSeek R1, when we spoke about DeepSeek, when the initial rumors came out, and look what happened to the market that day. I mean, literally $2 trillion was wiped off the market that day, and we've seen a little bit of recovery since then. So, again, it goes into line with some of these, when comments come out there, the market reacts quicker than actually digesting and understanding what the comments were in the first place. So, but DeepSeek R1 is now available to North American users through the Atlas Cloud's advanced inference platform. It offers fast performance and lower costs than DeepSeek's native deployment. The partnership, formalized in January, leverages Soluna Cloud's sustainable data centers for secure AI deployment. And this collaboration addresses rising demand for locally hosted AI solutions, reducing the reliance on China-hosted models while ensuring compliance and data sovereignty in the United States. DeepSeek R1 service officially launched on February the 28th, expanding access for enterprises and developers across the region. So this is just another arm to Soluna's business model, and we can't keep emphasizing, the diversity that Slouna brings to the table. They're such a small mining company in terms of market capitalization. They're certainly punching well above the weight in terms of delivering these projects of significant size. And hopefully this year we'll start seeing those revenues and margins reflect on what they're actually delivering. So looking forward to their next set of earnings coming out.
Yeah, so am I. A great update from Soluna, and so interesting you talk about that knee-jerk reaction of the market, Anthony. Something can be terrible on a Monday and great on a Tuesday. And as someone who's close to this sector, you and I follow the news day in, day out. It's interesting to see these storylines really change or morph between the weeks. Now, the other storyline we were talking about yesterday, the SB 21 bill in Texas. Wanted to report that has successfully passed. The other exciting news here in relation to some policy, we mentioned yesterday this crypto summit being held by the president himself tomorrow. They're expecting some big announcements or a potential announcement to conclude that meeting. We've seen a few of the big miners as well starting to be a little bit more active in the political realm. Both Riot Platforms and Mara putting out posts today on social media talking about the economic benefit of Bitcoin mining, the importance of having domestic hash rate to really secure these blocks and the blockchain, and that Bitcoin mined in America focus that we heard the president talk about during his inauguration.
Yeah, it's great to see that both of these CEOs are playing a lead role in the space, and it's pivotal when you consider the timing of the summit. Tomorrow, and we'll hopefully hear some positive news coming out to the White House. But that was great news to hear about Texas. Now passes through to the Senate. So all positive there. We know there's another number of other states that are following that trajectory as well there. And there have been a few states that have said no at this point in time and may choose to relook at it in a year's time. So a lot of things happening. Tomorrow's a big day. And hopefully, if we hear positive news tomorrow, that might give some credibility to the senators who are sort of on the fence at the moment, thinking about their own states.
Yeah, that'd sure be nice. I'm sure the volatility, specifically the downside volatility over the last few weeks, hasn't helped the case in a lot of these situations. I wanted to kick it back for closing thoughts here, Anthony. One positive, we're starting to see you and I work our way up the leaderboard here, Miner Madness, in the final month of Q1. However, as a percentage return, still looking fairly dismal across the board.
Yeah, there's nobody in the competition in Miner Madness 2.0 in profits at the moment. On a sort of slightly positive note, I'm still managing to hold the number one spot on the analyst leaderboard, seventh overall. So that's quite good. I think I was third yesterday, so just dropped down a little bit from there. But good to see quite a few of the analysts in the sort of like the top 100 at the moment there. Bryce, you're just outside the top 100 on the 119th at the moment, probably about eighth on the analyst board. But there's 4 weeks left to go, so I'm hoping that we can still make some positive moves to get above that $300 market. Nice to finish in positive position by the end of the competition.
Yeah, it certainly would be nice to finish in the green and atop the leaderboard there, Anthony. And when you're on the site checking your ranking or position, make sure you stop by the miner pages as well. We've been doing some work there. We've got the audio podcast, some of the live miner metrics, margins, quite a bit of content on the website as well. So you guys, with that being said, a big day tomorrow. We'll see if we get some additional direction or visibility into this strategic crypto reserve. With that being said, let us know how you're feeling in the comment section below. Hit the like button. Feel free to subscribe. We'll see you back here then.